In the vast, sprawling expanse of the galaxy, there were countless species, creatures of all shapes, sizes, and abilities, each with its own unique culture and way of life. But there was one thing that united them all: fear of humanity. It was not the fear of adults. Despite their advanced technology, ruthless tactics, or boundless ambition, no, it was the fear of human children that sent shivers down the spines of every species. And it wasn't an exaggeration. The galaxy had learned this lesson time and time again, often at the cost of those who dared to challenge humanity. The story began on a small, seemingly insignificant planet in the outskirts of the galaxy, a place called Earth. Humans, like many other species, were far from perfect. They fought wars, made mistakes, and struggled with their flaws. But there was something that made them unique. It was the potential hidden within them, a spark that no one else in the galaxy could match. Humans were resilient. They could survive in environments that would destroy any other life form. They could adapt faster than anyone had ever seen before. It was said that they had an innate ability to push through pain, loss, and despair. They were survivors, and no one could deny that. But the real terror lay in something even more profound: their children. The first notable event occurred when an alien species, the Zorvix, decided to capture and study a group of human children. The Zorvix were known for their intellect and vast knowledge, having conquered several star systems and enslaved numerous species. They believed that they could control everything, and they were certain that they could break the spirit of any species, including humanity. So, they captured a group of human children from Earth. They put them in containment cells aboard their massive warship, planning to study them, break their will, and learn what made them so resilient. But the Zorvix quickly realized their mistake. The children were small, fragile even by their standards. They lacked the physical strength of most other species, but they were quick, clever, and unyielding. They communicated in ways the Zorvix couldn't understand, using simple games, gestures, and strange sounds. But there was something deeply unsettling about their behavior. One by one, the Zorvix noticed that the children were not afraid. They never cried for help, never begged for mercy. Instead, they played. They played in the face of captivity, as if the whole situation were a game. They were always smiling, always laughing, yet there was something dangerous in their eyes. In a matter of weeks, the Zorvix found that their guards were becoming more and more agitated. They had never encountered such a response before. The children were breaking them. The more the Zorvix tried to intimidate, the more the children simply laughed and played. There were no tears, no fear, just an overwhelming sense of defiance. The Zorvix, who had once ruled with an iron fist, began to fracture. Their mental stability wavered as they struggled to comprehend how these tiny humans could remain so fearless. The children, with their innocent eyes, had turned the tide against them. They could not control the fear that was creeping into their own minds. They began to understand what the humans had that they lacked: an indomitable will. It wasn't long before the Zorvix made a grave mistake. They underestimated the children. In a desperate move to regain control, they attempted to separate the children, isolating them in individual cells. But this act only made the situation worse. It ignited a chain reaction that spread through the entire ship. The children began to communicate in ways they hadn't before, coordinating their actions with a strange, almost uncanny precision. The adults among the Zorvix watched in horror as their ship descended into chaos. The children were everywhere, free from their cages, and they had turned the ship's own systems against them. The Zorvix couldn't explain it. How had the children learned to hack into their complex technology so quickly? How did they manage to work together so seamlessly, despite being from such a different species? The answer, of course, was simple. Human children had something that made them terrifying. They had the capacity for learning, for creativity, and most importantly, they had the will to survive, to adapt, and to never give up. By the time the Zorvix realized what was happening, it was too late. The warship, once the pinnacle of their power, was now in the hands of the children. In the end, the Zorvix, once a proud and fearsome empire, were left broken and defeated. And it was the children who had done it, not with violence, not with strength, but with something far more dangerous: their unrelenting will and unyielding spirit. The story of the Zorvix was just one of many. Over the centuries, countless species had learned the hard way that humans were not to be underestimated. And it wasn't just the adults who were feared, it was their children too. The galaxy soon learned that even the smallest human child could, with a little time and creativity, bring an empire to its knees. It was not just the strength of humanity that caused such fear. It was the fact that every human, no matter their age, had the potential to do the impossible. And so the lesson spread far and wide. Every species in the galaxy knew one thing: never challenge a human child, for no matter how big, how strong, or how technologically advanced you were, a human child could find a way to make you regret it. Over time, this fear became ingrained in the collective psyche of the galaxy. Even the most powerful civilizations grew wary of humans, always keeping their distance, always remembering the lesson: never underestimate a human child. In the end, it wasn't just the strength or the weapons or the advanced technologies of humanity that terrified everyone. It was their children, their boundless potential, their unbreakable will, and the knowledge that no matter how small, they could always overcome the impossible. And that, perhaps, was the most terrifying lesson of all.